Good news, class. The weather's been so nice lately. I think we'd have class outside today. I think I better scare some people who never want to go back to school ever again, thinking that this is a class in session thing. No, it's not. That series of videos ended a while ago. Happy Thursday, everyone. Yeah, honestly, I just really wasn't feeling just staying inside today. Honestly, I wanted to sleep in, and yeah, I guess now I'm late for a few things. So you know what? I'm going for a car ride. Because, it's my video, so I can do a car ride. So, let's get started. So, I'm thinking over a few things regarding today's video, right? And there's something I really couldn't bite my tongue for any longer. Especially when, there was something I was kind of hoping for, but it didn't really pan out in the way you'd think so. But before I get into that, let's get to my low, my high, my act of kindness. So, I would say my low is, for as nice as the weather has been, it has been stupid hot out. Oh, good God, it's been hot out. Like, I don't think I've ever needed I don't think I ever need to get to water more than, like, in the last couple of days. Well, metabolically and anatomically and physiologically, my urine's coming out clean. So, that's how hydrated I am. That was probably TMI. I would say my high is I got to see my family yesterday, and, it was really nice. I got to spend time with my mom, and I did stay at my folks' place a little later than I would have liked to, but honestly, I haven't really seen my mom that much in the last few days, so I kind of wanted to, make up for it a little bit. I mean, technically I saw her every day, but I didn't really stay that long. Yesterday, I really tried to make a bit of an effort to be better about that. And my act of kindness was I emptied the dehumidifier for my father. I brought in the garbage cans because yesterday was garbage day. And what else did I do? That's really about it. So, yeah, about the thing I want to talk about today. I think it's about time. And I will admit, there is one thing. What I'm about to talk about is something I technically shouldn't be, only because I haven't seen the movie involved with what I'm about to talk about yet. I do kind of plan on seeing it, but I'd rather just get what I want to say out of the way first before I find the means to go watch it. Because it is a movie that came out earlier this year, and it was a movie that a lot of people, especially of my generation, were really looking forward to. And while financially the movie did gangbusters, critically the movie didn't. I'm speaking, of course, of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yes, the one where Chris Pratt played Mario, Charlie Day played Luigi, Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong, Anna Taylor-Joy is Princess Peach, Jack Black is Bowser, etc., etc. That movie, the one that came out like last April. Now, I want to make one thing abundantly clear. When it came to video games growing up, I myself was a Nintendo guy with a little bit of PlayStation. I love me some Crash Bandicoot. But growing up, full stop, I was a Nintendo guy. And, maybe a little bit of Sega, Sonic the Hedgehog. And considering that Sonic the Hedgehog really did look as if we're finally getting good video game movies, which you would think should have happened years ago, but for whatever reason, Hollywood just can't get it right. It really looked as if Sonic the Hedgehog was really paving the way for a good series of consistently good video game movies. Because the first two Sonic movies I hear did really well. And I'm thinking, okay, if Sonic can do that well, surely Mario can, right? And when I say well, I mean financially did great, but personally I am one of those guys that looks on Rotten Tomatoes and looks at what critics think. both of the Sonic movies had fresh ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. By the way, to get a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes, for those of you who don't know, it's got to be 60 or more. To be considered certifiably fresh, it's got to be 75% or more. But, the first Sonic movie was like a 60, and the second one was, I think, a little bit better. I think it was also in the 60s. I forget. My point is, critically and financially, the Sonic movies, they did good. And I'm thinking, okay, with a movie about Super Mario, and the fact it's going to be animated, you would think that you are going to get a critical and financial boom. And the latter part you did. Because, it's Super Mario Brothers. If there was any, that's why video game movies tend to fail. Because they all want to do it in live action. And, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie actually did a little bit of both. Because, obviously the Sonic characters were animated, but, it's taking place in, our world, live action and everything. But Super Mario Brothers was animated from start to finish. So you're thinking, okay, why did it fail? Critically, that is. Well, I can sum that up in one word. And that word is Illumination. Yes, Illumination. The animation studio founded by Universal that made the Super Mario Brothers movie, but also known for making the Despicable Me movies, the Minions movies, the Secret Life of Pets movies, the Sing movies. That studio is why the Super Mario Brothers movie critically failed. Now, what makes me say that? Well, first of all, to understand why, you need to understand what Illumination has done. Now, full disclosure, I do not hate Illumination as a company. I don't. For their movies that really are mediocre and don't really have that great of storytelling, give credit where credit's due. They make box office like you wouldn't believe. And yes, I am serious about that their movies really are mediocre. The first Secret Life of Pets movie is essentially Toy Story. That's the sort of thing you're dealing with here. And don't even get me started on how Sing had the audacity to come out this same year as Zootopia, which was the clearly superior movie, by the way. I love Zootopia. Zootopia was awesome. Not to mention, the marketing for those movies, for any and all of Illumination's movies, sucks. Oh my god. The marketing for those movies is absolutely terrible. Whether you're watching trailers for the movies, because God forbid they do anything different with the trailers or what have you. But it's just so annoying. But without fail, Illumination's greatest strength, quote unquote, is also its greatest weakness. I'm speaking, of course, of the Minions. Good God, critics are really getting sick of seeing the Minions. Before I continue on, I want to make one thing clear. When the first Despicable Me movie came out, that was Illumination's first movie, the first Despicable Me movie, right? I liked that movie. I thought that movie was fine. I thought it was funny, and, obviously all of the trailers spoiled the best lines in the movie, but, when I went to see the first Despicable Me movie, it was a packed house. It was full. I'm like, wow, everyone's actually here to see this. And it got uproarious laughs whenever it warranted so. The room was quiet when it was meant to be. It was a good movie. But Illumination clearly saw that the Minions were what were driving people to see that movie. So for years, Illumination has been pounding it into our heads that, you gotta watch the Minions. And 5 movies overall featuring them. I mean, they should have just done the first Minions movie and stopped, but they didn't. They wanted to make another one. And I gotta go with what Mr. Enter said on this. The Minions really haven't contributed anything truly great, in the realm of historical animation. Other than, they're small, they're yellow, they're cute. All you gotta do is make them square and you got SpongeBob. That's really what it is. If it sounds like I'm being too hard on, trust me, I'm not. There are people out there who hate the Minions. Almost as much as there are those who absolutely love the Minions. And that's why the critics didn't care for the Super Mario Brothers movie. They thought that they were going to get another, Minions movie with probably the Toads being the Minions. Which, honestly, from what I hear, that's not remotely the case. But, critics already made their collective minds. They literally judged the movie before it even came out. And, don't get me wrong, that's not the first time it happened. The first two Hotel Transylvania movies, remember when Adam Sandler was making those really horrible movies? And then he comes out with Hotel Transylvania? And people wonder why critics didn't like it. Even though the Hotel Transylvania movies are perfectly fine. And at least they got better over time critically. So, that's good. Meanwhile, the Minions haven't really gotten much better. Like when the first Minions movie came out, it grossed more than any other animated movie that came out that year. For those of you wondering, that movie came out in 2015. And in 2015, we had the Shaun the Sheep movie, the Peanuts movie, The Good Dinosaur, and Inside Out. Every single one of those aforementioned movies, yes, including The Good Dinosaur, were all critically better than the Minions. Just look on Rotten Tomatoes. But financially, Minions did better than all of them. And I guess it does sort of go with the theme of how the Minions are great at being, little thieves and how they steal, box office revenue, I guess. But still, it's 2023. Try and do something different. But you know what? There is a silver lining. There actually is a silver lining to what happened with the Super Mario Brothers movie. It's that, at the end of the day, critics are not what generate a sequel. Box office revenue does. And again, the Super Mario Brothers movie did gangbusters at the box office. So, like it or not, we are getting a sequel. And thankfully, it really does look as if, with the release of the Super Mario Brothers movie and the upcoming movie of Migration, it really does look as if Illumination is at least trying to stay away from the Minions. I mean, pardon the language, they can't completely remove their dick from the Minions collective purse. I mean, have you seen, when they promote a movie and the Illumination sign comes out, all the Minions are saying, Illumination! Yeah. So, like the Minions or not, they're here to stay. By the way, it's probably coming across that I hate the Minions. I don't hate the Minions. Not at all. But even for a patient guy like myself, 5 movies featuring the Minions. That's just too much, guys. That just is. If there's one more movie about the Minions, I think Illumination is going to lose even people like me. And it's not like I even go out and see any of the Illumination movies either. Quite frankly, the only one I ever saw was the first Despicable Me movie. And that was it. And I never had any intention of seeing any others. I never saw the Lorax, but I knew that movie was going to be bad. I mean, the Secret Life of Pets movie, that was clearly Toy Story. And, Sing coming out the same year as Utopia. And, again, the only other thing you got left is the Minions, and I just talked about them. We're just sick of it. Illumination is at least trying to do a bit better. And I can respect and appreciate that. Personally, I'm just hoping that when they make a sequel for the next Super Mario Brothers movie, they at least learn from their mistakes and do a little bit better with their marketing. And it doesn't appear as if they had any Minions clones in the Toads, which, thank goodness. Keep in mind, I haven't seen the Super Mario Brothers movie yet. But trust me, if and when I do, I will be bringing this video up later. I'm trying to think in my head. I believe today is 2027. So, from this point on, expect a follow-up video, possibly about a possible follow-up video regarding if and when I see the Super Mario Brothers movie. And it's such a real shame, too. I mean, I say that critically the movie didn't do well. It got a 59 on Rotten Tomatoes. When I just said earlier that to get fresh, you gotta get 60. I mean, really? One critic just didn't have a heart and just let it be? I don't know. I mean, I've heard that the movie is perfectly fine. In fact, even Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, did a great job of making fun. Actually, at the time of this video, the Nostalgia Critic just released his video on the Super Mario Brothers movie. Personally, I was gonna watch the movie at some point and then watch the Nostalgia Critic's video, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. See what the Nostalgia Critic says, because whatever the Nostalgia Critic says, usually he's right. Don't get me wrong, there's a few things I've disagreed with him on, sure. But I get the feeling whatever he says in that movie is pretty much what I'm saying now. Or at least to some degree of it. So, yeah. And again, I feel bad. I really wanted the Super Mario Brothers movie to be good both financially and critically. And the former happened. It's just the latter that, didn't. And again, I blame that on Illumination. I wholly 100% blame that on the fact that Illumination was the studio that brought us that movie. Frankly, for my money, I think Warner Brothers should have gotten the rights to it. Or did. You have Disney. You have the collective minds behind Warner Brothers, but behind Disney and Pixar's animation studio. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not as if Pixar's doing that great. I mean, Elemental at least looked like it picked up a little bit of steam, but it's not really doing the greatest. At least Pixar would have made the movie look better. And give credit where credit's due. Illumination did a good job of, making the Super Mario Brothers movie colorful from what I've seen. So, that's good. The worst thing you can do for an adaptation is try and do your own thing. And, it's just a real shame. Behind everything going on for that movie, the cast behind that movie, the fact that you got Shigeru Miyamoto, the creator of Super Mario, and the CEO of Nintendo behind everything. And critically, you just couldn't get it. Shake my head. Oh well. I mean, I presume that when it comes out on streaming and DVD, it's going to do even better then. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if if it already has a huge cult following, which I hope is the case. And if and when we get a sequel, and trust me, that is going to happen, I hope it's in a way that's better than the first one. But we'll just have to wait and see. And it's a real shame, too, because one thing I always wanted to see was, like, something involving Super Smash Brothers that wasn't, like, just the video game. And I really thought that this movie was going to be, like, the beginnings of that. Sadly, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll probably get a sequel, and financially it's going to do great. But then people are just going to say, enough is enough. We don't want it anymore. It's over. You know, that's it. But at least we will have the memories. Well, that's about all I gotta say about that. At this point, I should probably put the camera down and continue on my drive. You know, we got a new episode of Hot Ones today. Newest episode of Hot Ones is going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. We have, what else? I'm probably going to be seeing a movie today. Probably Oppenheimer, because, I mean, good God, that movie's 3 hours, and if I have an opportunity to see a 5 o'clock showing, at least it's probably going to be like 8:30 by the time I get out. So, I'll be seeing Oppenheimer. And, yeah. That's going to be my plan for today. I hope you all liked this video. If you did, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on social media. As always, I am very humbled that I made this video for all of you guys who watch and enjoy for today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Thursday. Did I even do Happy Thursday? Well, yeah, I did. And remember, just in case, Happy Thursday, everyone. And remember, if you guys want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to London. You know, always everybody, take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.